and I just moved here about a year ago. And the group from the Repertory and the Women's Club asked me if I would do something that they could earn money for the scholarship money for the young girls in high schools here. And I said, that's perfect for me, because I love to do things like that. I don't know if you know, but I run a women's theater company in Parsippany, so I'm always trying to find ways to help and get women in the business and let them practice and do their work. Anyway, so we started this just maybe 3 weeks ago. And I'm just so proud. They did wonderful. This is a play that was written by Nora and Delia Ephron. It's a play that's done this way. Okay, it always is a reading, and it was so that they could rotate the cast. So every couple of months, 3 more, 4 more things when it came in. It was 4 on Broadway, okay? So that's what this is. So this is no different than the way it was presented. And they sat pretty still, too, like this. So anyway, these ladies have done a terrific job. I hope you enjoy it. Please turn off your telephones. Put them away for an hour. Don't even look. And afterwards, there's ice cream. And we can chat with the cast, okay? So I'll see you all in a little while. Right now, I would like to introduce the cast of Love, Loss, and What I Wore.
One day I was lying in bed with a backache, and I started thinking about a dress I used to wear. I drew a picture of it, then I thought of another one. I decided to draw the dresses, to hold on to them. And when I finished, I thought, these dresses tell a story. My Brownie uniform. My mother was our Brownie leader at Hunter College Elementary School on 69th Street between Lexington and Park. Even though she was our Brownie leader, she never got a Brownie leader's uniform. It was too expensive. A handmade brown dress coat with matching leggings and galoshes.
Gingy, put on your leggings.
I hated putting on my leggings, which were held up by suspenders, and I always had a tantrum. I won't.
You have to put on your leggings if you're going to play in the snow.
No, I don't.
If you don't, you know what will happen. You'll get polio.
You can't imagine how many ways there were to get polio. You could get it from swimming pools and drinking water, and most terrifying of all, from swallowing a fly. Note the brightly colored mittens. My mother was always knitting mittens for my sister and me. We lived at 333 East 66th Street, between 1st and 2nd Avenue, in a first-floor railroad flat that faced the front. My mother made this forest green wool jersey dress embroidered with red cherries for my sister. My sister's name was Blossom, but everyone called her Tootsie. Everyone called me Gingy, because I was born with ginger-colored hair. My mother was a large, handsome woman who didn't wear fancy clothes, maybe because we couldn't afford them. Once my grandmother surprised her with a silver fox stole for her birthday, or Mother's Day, I can't remember which. My mother tried it on, but she never wore it after that day. She usually wore a dark print dress and brown shoes with a buckle. She wore glasses, but whenever I draw her picture, I always forget to draw the glasses. Her face had the most beautiful shape. My mother made this black taffeta outfit too. She made almost all of my sisters and my clothes. I wore this dress to dancing school at Ballet Arts in the Carnegie Hall building on 57th Street. I liked it very much, but what I really wanted was a store-bought outfit. Sometimes I would take the crosstown bus to Ballet Arts by myself. My mother would walk me to the bus.
Gingy, what is that smell?
What smell?
You know perfectly well what smell.
It was perfume. It was taboo. I smelled like
You smell like a bordello. You are too young to wear perfume.
Tootsie wears perfume.
Tootsie is 17. You are only 12 years old. You're still a baby.
I am not a baby.
And you smell so sweet without it. When you were a little girl, I used to just bury my head in your neck and inhale.
She used to just bury her head in my neck and inhale. The spring after my mother died, my father took me to B. Altman's department store on Fifth Avenue to buy a dress for my 13th birthday. We were both so sad. But when we got to the teen department, my father said, "This is my daughter, Gingy. She needs something to wear for her 13th birthday, and we need help." Everyone rushed to help us because he was so handsome. He was 6 feet tall. I picked 2 navy blue dresses and couldn't decide between them. I was in agony. So he said, "You don't have to decide because you know what? I'm buying them both." He made them gift wrap them. This was a long time ago when you didn't have to pay extra to have things gift wrapped. Each dress was very expensive, about $44. I wore the one on the left to my 13th birthday party. One day my grandmother came and got my sister and me. She decided we were going to live with her and Grandpa and my Aunt Babby. I never saw my father again.
What my mother said. Don't wear stripes and prints together.
Loafers ruin your feet.
Stop tugging at your crotch, Samantha.
If you wear a girdle, you will destroy your stomach muscles.
Always wear clean underpants in case you die in a car accident.
You never wear that dress. Do you know how much I paid for it?
Never buy a red coat.
I saw your friend Stephanie at the mall. Is she wearing the blouse I bought you? Go right back upstairs and take that off.
Nice Jewish girls do not get their ears pierced.
You'd be so pretty if you
Lost weight.
Gain weight.
Don't make faces.
Fix your nose.
Cut your hair. Combed your hair.
Washed your hair.
kept your hair out of your eyes.
Stand up straight.
Eat fruit. Put on a little lipstick.
Take off all that makeup.
Oh, honey, you look so beautiful. Just looking at you, I'm going to cry. My little girl is all grown up.
You're so pretty.
Do you know how pretty you are?
You're pretty enough for all normal purposes.
Is that what you're wearing?
Are you wearing that deliberately to annoy me?
Never wear white before Memorial Day.
Never wear white after Labor Day.
Never wear white. You're much too young to wear black.
Never wear black pants with a white shirt, or you look like the caterer's help.
Never wear velvet before Rosh Hashanah.
What did you do to your hair?
Is that a tattoo?
If you wear that, you're going to be sent home for breaking the dress code.
Take that off, you look like a slut.
You look like a prostitute. You look like a gypsy.
You look like a bag lady.
You look like a waitress in a Hungarian restaurant.
I don't understand you. You could look so good if you just tried.
I don't know why I buy you things.
A tiara? You want a tiara? Where are you planning to wear a tiara?
Your bra strap is showing.
What do you mean it's supposed to show? The truth is, I have no fashion sense. Never did. For many years, I blamed this on my mom's death. Then again, I blamed pretty much everything on that. My weight, my addiction to television, my inability to spell. In my fantasy world, had my mother lived, I would be extremely well dressed. I would know what was what, and everything I tried on would fit. Mom and I would shop together at places that moms and daughters go. The department store, an outlet mall, the flea market. We would lunch someplace while shopping, and it would be at a cafe where we would have salad and like it. We'd laugh about how great our lives turned out and make plans for all the things we were still going to do. That's all a dream, because my mother did not live. She died when she was 39 years old. The fact is that no item of clothing has ever moved me in any way except one. After my mom died, my dad took his 5 motherless children to Belfast, Northern Ireland. I guess he thought we could best recover from the trauma of her death by living in a war zone. The IRA was nowhere near as scary as what had just happened to our lives. When we returned, we found her side of the closet empty. All her clothes were gone. A few years later, my dad got remarried to a lovely woman. She was a school teacher named Mary May. After the wedding, she moved in. That first morning she was there, I was eating breakfast with a few of my siblings when my new stepmom walked down the stairs and into the kitchen. She was wearing a long burgundy velour 3/4 sleeve zip bathrobe with a thick vertical white stripe down the center surrounding the zipper. No one said a word. All looked at each other, then back at Mary as she happily made her way to the stove to put on the kettle. My mother had had the same exact bathrobe in blue. Electric blue. What are the chances of that, really? The unspoken rule in my house was that my mom's name was never mentioned after her death. But that morning I knew that rule was about to be broken. My siblings left the kitchen. I was alone with Mary. Mary, I said, my mom had that same bathrobe in blue. Oh, she said. And that robe disappeared. Gone. Sent away to the same place my mother's clothes went, I assume. To this day, that bathrobe is the only piece of clothing I can actually see in my mind. I have no visuals of prom dresses or favorite sweaters or shoes I couldn't live without. Clothes are just something I use for cover, leaving room for one electric blue memory.
If I could draw, I would draw you the dress my mother gave me when I was 5 years old. It was my favorite dress ever. It had long sleeves and it was charcoal gray wool with a big lace pilgrim collar and a black satin bow in the center and lace cuffs. A few months after my mother gave it to me, my father, who was the doctor, sent my mother away to a mental hospital, moved his nurse into our house, divorced my mother, and married the nurse. We had a cleaning lady who came in once a week, who had a daughter a little younger than me, and my stepmother used to give her my hand-me-downs. One day I couldn't find my beautiful dress. I asked my stepmother if she'd seen it. It will turn up, she said. A week later, I went to school, and during recess, I found my dress on the cleaning lady's daughter. I could not believe it. I ran up to her, grabbed her by the collar, screaming, "That's my dress, my dress, my dress," again and again, until the recess monitor pulled us apart. The little girl stood there shaking and crying, and I stood there shaking and crying, holding my satin bow in my fist. I wasn't punished because the school understood, but I remember wishing that they had punished me. Shame on me, and shame on my stepmother too.
We lived with my grandparents in a brownstone building at 743 Madison Avenue between 65th and 66th Streets. They owned a stationery store on the street level. It was called Harry Goldberg's. We lived above the store. My grandmother had very beautiful, long, silver gray hair that she twisted up on top of her head into a bun. She believed in 2 cures: hot tea for anything wrong inside the body, and Vaseline for anything wrong outside the body. Here's what she always said: "It's as easy to fall in love with a rich man as a poor man." which isn't true. Why do people say that? It's not true. My Aunt Babby had enormous breasts. Once I saw her naked, and it scared me to death. My best friend Dora, she had a beauty mark at the end of her eyebrow. Dora lived at 22 East 65th Street, right across the street from me. And we used to lean out of our windows and shout down things to men who were walking past. Like, "Hey, mister, you're going bald." We thought we were hilarious. Dora's mother was a dress designer for rich ladies. Whenever Dora went someplace special, her mother would say, "Take Gingy along." She lent me this peach satin strapless gown when Dora and I went to the Choate School for Boys in Connecticut for the weekend. The preppy girls gave us mean looks and called us whores. Probably because we spent the entire weekend necking with our dates. This is the coral wool jersey dress I bought for a date with Walter Fenton. I was madly in love with Walter Fenton. Whenever we'd go out, Walter begged me to go all the way. Finally, at a fraternity party at Dartmouth Winter Carnival, he told me that he couldn't see me anymore because necking was just too painful. He went off to have a beer and left me sitting on the floor. After a long time, he came back and said he was going to drive me back to the place where I was supposed to sleep. But I said I didn't want to. I wanted to spend the night with him. Are you sure, he said. I'm sure, I said. So we did it. That's when I found out that in sex, once you do something, you have to keep doing it. At the end of my freshman year, I thought I was pregnant. I had no idea what to do. So I went to my sociology professor at Simmons College for advice. He had taught a class in marriage and the family, and I thought he could help me. It turned out I wasn't pregnant. But by then, Walter had vanished.
The bra. That is such a painful subject.
My first bra. I can't even talk about my first bra. May Company,
Macy's, Nordstrom's, Bloomingdale's at a bra sale, and I was almost trampled to death. My father took me. I still can't talk about it.
Bras, breasts, the whole works. This is a very painful subject.
I was always trying on bras.
My aunt had this really big one, and I used to wear it on my head.
My first bra was like 2 triangles. I got it at Jordan Marsh. It was awful because there was some really cute guy there shopping with his girlfriend, and my mom kept saying, "Julia, why are you in that section? The training bras are over here."
My mother said, if you don't wear a bra, you will get pendulum breasts.
28 AA bra. Tiny but not enough. I put it on and there were like empty little puffs on my chest. The saleswoman said, "Lean over." So I leaned over, hoping the breast would magically tumble out of my body and into the bra, but they didn't.
I bought a blow-up bra. It had plastic balloon inserts and came with a plastic straw that you inserted into the balloons and blew up to the size you wanted. One day I was talking to this guy I had a crush on, and one side collapsed right over his eyes. It was something about your dad.
You couldn't run around the house naked anymore. You couldn't fit on your daddy's lap.
The breast, the bra, the divide.
My mom's friend worked at Bloomingdale's when I was in college and recommended the Minimizer. It's a spandex bra that flattens your boobs about a cup size. I was totally excited about it because I was so self-conscious about my breasts. The bra flattened me, but kind of gave me a monoboob look. I wore it to the veterinary hospital where I was working as a technician. there was this crazy Indian substitute vet there, and he said, please don't take this personally, but this is only for your own good. But I have to say there is something wrong with your boob. I said, I don't know you, and I don't appreciate your comments about my boobs. They are none of your business. First time I ever stood up for my boob.
Someone gave me a cashmere halter top that needs a bra to make it work. So I go to the town shop on Broadway and tell the saleswoman, Marveline, my size. She immediately tells me I'm wrong. All you girls think you should be going up in inches, but you should be going up a cup. I am deposited in something that perhaps is a dressing room, but looks like a utility closet with a mirror and a case of paper towels. I'm strapped into my strapless when the curtain is parted like the Red Sea, and my linebacker saleswoman commands me to bend over. Then she then grabs me in my bra and hoists me up until I can feel the blood changing direction in my body. She reaches in, cups my breasts with her hands, and shifts them. Then invites all the other saleswomen in to look at me. Everyone cheers. I look in the mirror. I realize that I am now a new woman. And it took Marveline feeling me up in a utility closet to get me this way.
My junior prom dress was powder blue and white. It was ribbed with tiny ribs and a white waistband and a white band around the bottom, kind of like Cinderella with a big powder blue bow. The problem was my date. He rang the bell, and I opened the door, and there he was in a powder blue tuxedo with a white frilly shirt and a powder blue bow tie. We matched. It was totally mortifying. I didn't really like him, but I was sort of the last to be asked to the prom. Not the very last, but one of the last. So I really didn't have a choice in the date or in what he wore. And I had a really horrible time at the prom. And afterwards, we went into a field and tipped cows. My senior prom was completely different. My prom dress was black and short. It was in that sort of Madonna 1980s style, her like a virgin phase, tight on top, and then it went out in a black net poof and black lace gloves. My date was also short, but dark and handsome. We ended up drinking champagne and making out in his car, and it was great. But here's the thing. I've never really known for sure which of those two people I am. The girl who almost doesn't get asked to the prom at all, or the girl who gets to go with a really cute guy. Every time I thought I knew which one I was, it turns out to be the other, which is one reason why I think I got married, to like end the confusion.
Any American woman of a certain age who says she's never dressed as Madonna is either lying or Amish. Madonna represents sexual freedom, third-wave feminism, individuality, and fabulous fashion. I would dress as Madonna from 4 different stages of her career. I was desperately seeking Susan Madonna. I wore a black t-shirt cut to reveal my stomach, silver necklaces tied in lariats, a huge black skirt, and red Converse sneakers. I was blonde ambition tour Madonna. I wore tight black leotard, fishnet stockings, and a headset. And this was really brilliant. 2 paper party hats I painted black to create a big black pointy bra. I was express yourself Madonna. I wore a man's suit, rocked a red wig, and cut slashes through the suit jacket so my bra showed through. I was Patty Hearst Madonna. I wore that cute little hat Patty wore when she robbed the bank, and a trench coat, and a fake gun strapped across my chest. Anyway, these costumes and a whole lot of cosmos totally freed me. I made out with a girl. Oh my God, I made out with a bunch of gay men. I practically got into a fist fight with another group of girls dressed as
Madonna.
And whenever Vogue came on, we totally hit the floor. Vogue, 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 Vogue.
I got my first pair of boots when I was 14. They were suede, and they were the answer to my need to be identified as a brooding, wounded, but potentially brilliant, artistic subspecies of female, with practically no genetic relationship to my miserable skir-weaving family. My dog Corky got them confused with an entree and ate a hole in them. So I took a bus to Sausalito and got a new pair. They were olive green leather and came up above my knees. By the time I got to Berkeley, where I was an art student, I was all about boots all the time. Freshman year, I had 2 pairs. One was golden brown and one was deeper brown. And I wore them with really, really short skirts. I thought my boots gave me a kind of mysterious, bohemian charisma. Tough, but tender. Rugged, but sensuous. Poetic, but unself-conscious, like Joni Mitchell. It was a really happy time of my life. But then one night when I was sleeping, a guy broke into my apartment and raped me. They never caught him, and I have no reason at all to think that he'd ever seen me before that night. But after the rape, when I walked down the streets of Berkeley in my boots and my short skirt, it suddenly seemed like everyone was staring at me. So I gave my short skirts to Goodwill, but not the boots. I love the boots.
What do you think?
Does this go in or out? What is this length?
I can't even zip it up.
The only reason I can't zip this up is I have my period.
Oh my God, I'm up a size.
This will fit if I lose 5 pounds.
This will fit if I lose 10 pounds.
This will fit if I have lipo.
This doesn't fit. Do you think this can be let out?
This doesn't fit now, but I always lose weight in May.
I don't know who cut this for.
But I'm a 6. I've always been a 6.
Does this come in an 8?
Does this come in a 12?
Does this come in a 14/16?
Does this make me look pregnant? I can't decide. What color is this? I can't wear gray.
Yellow makes me look sick.
I look so pale in green.
It's so red.
It's so red.
Is this black or navy blue?
I can't buy another black turtleneck sweater.
I can't buy another white t-shirt. I look like my mother.
What am I supposed to wear with this?
Does this match?
If you're not buying that, could I try it on?
Does this run small?
Is there something wrong with the lighting in here?
Is this mirror like distorted?
It doesn't fit. I can't wear anything without sleeves.
I can't wear anything low cut.
My arms, what happened to my arms? If my elbows faced forward, I would kill myself.
My butt is falling.
Is my butt falling?
Does this make me look fat?
Tell me the truth. I can't decide.
I can't decide.
I can't decide.
I can't decide.
Last summer, I lost my favorite shirt, or to be more accurate, my favorite shirt vanished into thin air. When I got home from being away for the summer and I unpacked my bags, the shirt simply never materialized. I have replayed the sequence of events in my mind several times, and I have theories about what happened to it. But the fact remains that the shirt just ceased to be. The really sad part with this came at the end of a summer when that shirt gradually revealed itself to be the perfect shirt. It was flattering. I always felt pretty in it. I liked the color and the cut. It went with all my favorite pants. It was casual and dressed down, but not crappy and falling apart. It was comfortable. It was one of those skirts you have to make yourself not wear, because it seems every day's outfit would be improved by it, and as silly as it may sound, I am generally happy when I have clothes like this in my life, when there's something I know I could put on and feel good in it, something to fall back on. When I realized the shirt was gone, I couldn't think of anything else I owned that served remotely the same function, and I felt cheated out of something truly rare and precious. I realize that I sound like I'm talking about death or about lost love, and maybe I am. It's probably worth noting that my relationship with my boyfriend was ending at just the same time I lost the shirt. But I could have sworn to you at the time that I was not transferring my feelings about the loss of my boyfriend onto the shirt, but I was actually mourning the loss of the shirt itself. The main lessons to be learned from this experience came from the purchase of 8 different shirts, which each one had some likeness to the lost shirt, whether it was be in color, cut, material, casualness. But I'm sure of them, none of them replaced it. And I eventually had to resolve being thankful for the time I had with the shirt and move on. At least I know what I'm looking for.
I felt so hot in my gang sweater. I was 15, and it was the first thing I'd ever had tailor-made for me. The only thing ever, now that I think about it. I joined this gang called the Latin Chantels. We were the chicas of the Latin chancellors, the guys who hung out near the corner of 27th and Normal Streets in Chicago. The sweater was hip length and bad. Black with royal blue trim around the collar and on the pockets. The best thing about it was the emblem. A big, puffy rendition of some long time ago coat of arms that had been designed by Lemons, the warlord of the Latin chancellors. The emblem was sewed, excuse me, onto the sweater, near your heart. I wore my gang sweater with black stretch pants, the kind that the strap goes under your feet. I knew I looked cool in that outfit. So cool that the first day I wore it, Lemons asked to walk me home. I could barely breathe. I was in heaven walking through the dark Chicago streets with Lemons at my side. I thrilled when he pulled me into a doorway and began kissing me. When he unbuttoned my sweater, I shuddered. When he put his hand under my blouse, right under the elbow he had designed, I figured it was meant to be. Lemons never spoke to me after that day. He fell madly in love with Irma, the president of the Latin Capris. Their sweaters were black with purple trim. Cool.
Pink satin princess-style dress I bought in Filene's basement in Boston for my marriage to Harry M. Johnson. I was 20 and Harry was 37. Harry was my sociology professor at Simmons. We were married at his best friend's house in Dobbs Ferry. There was no food, only champagne and wedding cake. My grandmother and Aunt Babby came to the wedding. My grandfather wouldn't come because he thought Harry was too old for me. And besides, he was Catholic. Here are the words my grandmother uttered on this occasion. "You're killing me." One day I was coming down the front steps from our apartment, and there was Walter Fenton. He had joined the Navy. He looked handsomer than ever in his uniform. "Gingy," he said, "why did you do it?" He kissed my cheek and then my hand and walked away. I would love to be able to tell you that nothing good ever happened to Walter Fenton, that he ended up being a used car salesman. But the truth is, he won a Pulitzer Prize. The prick. Iridescent brocade Chinese-style dinner dress I bought in Cambridge for a New Year's Eve party. Harry convinced me to buy this dress even though it was expensive. He said it showed off my arms. He thought my arms were pretty. The party was at the home of Harry's friends, Penny and Eddie. They were married. I idolized Penny. She carried a diaphragm in her purse, which was very cool, but strange. I wondered about it at the time, because isn't the whole point of getting married that you don't have to carry a diaphragm in your purse? Anyway, at midnight, I got very upset because I couldn't find Harry. Then I saw him. He was kissing Penny. "Harry," I said. And you know what he said? Of course you know what he said. He said, "It's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. So that was that. I was 21 years old, and I was going to be the youngest divorced person in America. Except for Elizabeth Taylor.
In the beginning, I remember the jewelry more than the clothes. When I met Ray, we were both married and we worked at the same truck dealership. And he used to say that falling in love with me was like lettuce. That was because when he was a kid, he had colitis. And for a long time, he could not have any roughage. And when he was finally allowed to have it, his mother introduced it to him very slowly, a little bit of lettuce at a time. And he described eating that first plate of lettuce like a religious experience, relishing the look, the taste, the sound, and the smell, like he was coming alive. So, the first gift he gave me was a ring that he had made to spell lettuce. Lettuce. Still have it, but it's a little tight. Anyway, even before we slept together, Ray told me how he was in trouble. He had been arrested and he might be going to jail. And then he told me all over again because he wanted to make sure he hasn't misled me. But all I could think about was how much I wanted to go to bed with him. And I wasn't shocked that he was going to go to jail because remember, I'm poorly. My family is always doing things. My grandmother and my mother got arrested for making gin in the bathtub. Oh dear, and my Aunt Bernice, who was a policewoman, was thrown off the Baltimore Police Abortion Squad for arranging abortions. My cousin Davy faked his own funeral to get out of making his car payments. So Ray and I, we fell in love. He left his wife, I left my husband, and Ray was sentenced to 7 years. But thank God it was a minimum security prison. I went up to visit him every weekend. Sometimes I wore a very special pair of pants I had, loose fitting, brown cotton, and I made a hole in the crotch just for Ray. Obviously, Ray didn't get much from this except the satisfaction of showing me that he could handle me better than anyone that was not in jail. And of course, we wanted to hold on to our freedom, put something over on the guards, get away with it. That was the best part, because they were so horrible. When they cleared you in, they frisked you, they went through your bag like they controlled you, which they did. Ray got out of prison after 2.5 years, and I picked him up, wearing a pair of knee-high caramel boots and a raincoat. When Ray came down, he looked at me and he smiled from ear to ear because he knew I had nothing on under that raincoat. And the guards, they didn't know. Anyway, we are just celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary. I am a state senator. Ray is a life coach. He coaches people on their life. If you lived where we lived, you'd know us, but you wouldn't know the story.
The closet. I have nothing to wear.
Nothing.
Nothing fits.
Nothing fits me.
Why did I buy this piece of shit?
Why can't I find anything in my closet?
I hate my clothes.
Why do I buy such terrible clothes?
I had to clean out my closet.
I absolutely have to.
I should throw this away. After all, I haven't worn it in 2 years.
3 years.
5 years.
My mother gave me this. Who does she think I am?
I can't find my black turtleneck sweater.
Where is it?
I can't find it.
Why did I hang this up? Now I have to iron it.
I have nothing to wear.
Who bought this?
Who did I think I was when I bought this?
I totally forgot I bought this.
Do men ever go through this?
Choosing the sweater.
I'm choosing the sweater.
Choosing the sweater.
Unchoosing the sweater.
Of course they don't.
What's wrong with me?
Where is it?
I have nothing to wear.
I have nothing to wear.
I have nothing to wear.
Nothing.
After I got divorced, I moved back to New York and lived with Nora, who was studying to be an actress.
Gingy, you are the second youngest divorced person in the world, and you must act as if you couldn't care less.
I had no idea what Nora meant.
What I mean is, don't marry the first person you go out with just so you can stop being divorced.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would I do that?
Are you listening to me, Gingy?
This is a yellow ogress actress, Dora lent me when she fixed me up with Al Beckerman.
He's very sweet, but don't marry him. Are you listening to me, Gingy?
A floral print cotton piqué dress I purchased at a very snooty store in New Canaan, Connecticut, for my marriage to Al Beckerman. My mother and Babby came to the wedding, but my grandfather wouldn't come. He was still mad at me for marrying Harry. Al was so sweet. He's very sweet, I said to Dora. And she said,
I know he's very sweet, but are you sure?
He'll take care of me.
I know, but are you sure?
We both want a big family.
How big, Gingy?
Black and red print taffeta maternity dress. First worn when I was pregnant with Isabel, and then when I was pregnant with Lily, Michael, Joe, Julie, and David. David died when he was 18 months old from a 48-hour intestinal virus. Your son has expired, they said, when they called from the hospital. Your son has expired. After David died, everything changed. I ordered this beige wool pantsuit from the Spiegel catalog. It was my first mail order purchase. I thought it would be a good interview outfit because now that the children were all in school, I wanted to go to work. I got a job at an ad agency. One day I walked into my office and a man was sitting at my desk. He had a glue stick in his hand. He said, "Do you know how to open this fucking thing?" It was as if Cupid had shot his arrow right into my heart. "Fuck," he said, and left. Later that day, I found out his name was Stanley. So there it was. First Walter, then Harry, then Al, then Stanley. I loved this print jersey Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress. It was so easy to put on and very comfortable. And if you gained a few pounds, it still fit. I was worried at the day I told Al I couldn't stay married to him anymore because I'd fallen in love with Stanley. It wasn't really Al's fault. Al was so sweet.
There was, for a very brief moment in time, the paper dress, and I had one. I got it at Paraphernalia, which was Betsy Johnson's first store on 67th and Madison. It was a kind of grayish plaid sheet. I wore it to brunch at my cousin Marty's. He was an advertising executive who had just married Steffi, whom he put through medical school, and then she ran off with a doctor. They were very impressed with my dress and how au courant I was. Then I wore it to Paula's sister Janet's and her new husband Earl's, who invited me and Paula to dinner at their newlywed apartment, which contained their newly upholstered dining room chairs. In the middle of dinner, I got my period suddenly and violently. And when we all stood up, there was a blood stain on the seat of one of the prized new chairs. For history, I should say that the dress was completely intact, just wet. It must have been the predecessor to Bounty paper towels. Anyway, when I stood up, Janet said something like, "What?" And I said something like, "What?" As though nothing had happened at all. I then left the room for the bathroom. God knows what the three of them did, because I never acknowledged to anyone that anything out of the ordinary had happened, although I will remember this on my deathbed.
I look gorgeous in high heels. Everyone looks gorgeous in high heels. But my feet hurt. My little toe was always crushed. I had a bunion. I was in so much pain, I couldn't think. I had to choose heels or think. I chose think. So I bought some chic flat shoes. I made a lot of mistakes. I bought these turquoise blue Marc Jacobs ballet flats that the salesman talked me into because he said they had toe cleavage. I'd never heard of toe cleavage. Anyway, I realized that chic flat shoes are almost as uncomfortable as heels. And they don't do that amazing thing for your legs. Fortunately, at just about this time, I met an unbelievably stylish woman who was wearing Birkenstocks. When I was in high school, I was a Doc Martens girl, and Birkenstocks symbolized everything I didn't want to be. They were incredibly uncool, and the girls who wore them had big, dirty toes that stuck out the ends. You absolutely could not be friends with a person who wore Birkenstocks. But there, this stylish woman wore her Birks with baggy cords and a comme des garçons sleeveless shirt. It was a revelation. The next day, I went out and got a pedicure and a pair of dark brown standard style. I realized that Birkenstocks were actually the coolest, punkest shoes I could wear. They were a statement. Look, these are my feet. We all have them, okay? My husband had a slightly different opinion. He hated my Birkenstocks. He said they made me look like a troll from Middle-earth. And once, when the Yankees were in the playoffs, he made me take them off before coming into the same room as the TV, so that I wouldn't hex the team. After we split up, you'd think I'd have stuck with my Birkenstocks, but no, I started wearing heels again. Oh, the pain, I couldn't think. But I look gorgeous. I had to choose heels or think. I chose heels.
I just want to say jumpsuits. Can we for 1 second talk about what a nightmare it is to go to the bathroom in a jumpsuit?
I just want to say that I personally have a rule against sleeveless turtleneck sweaters. I don't understand them. Are you hot or are you cold? Make up your mind.
I just want to say that when you start wearing Eileen Fisher, you might as well say, I give up.
I just want to say I absolutely hate it. If you're one of those women who think there's something great about purses, don't even bother listening, because I have nothing to say to you. This is for women who hate their purses, who are bad at purses, who understand that their purses are reflections of negligent housekeeping, hopeless disorganization, a chronic inability to handle the obligations of a demanding and difficult accessory. The obligation, for example, that it in some way should match what you're wearing. This is for women whose purses are a morass of loose Tic Tacs, lipsticks without their tops on, little bits of tobacco, leaky ballpoint pens, Kleenexes that either have or have not been used. I realized many years ago that I was no good at purses, and for quite a while I did without one. When I went out, I would only have a lipstick, a $20 bill, and I would tuck a credit card in my bra. But unfortunately, there were times when I needed to leave the house with more than just the basics. So I bought an overcoat with large pockets. Here's what happens when you buy a purse. You start pledging yourself to neatness. You start small. You start vowing that this time it will be different. You start with a wallet, a few cosmetics. But within seconds, your purse has accumulated the debris of a lifetime. The cosmetics have somehow fallen out of the shiny cosmetic bag. The coins have tumbled from the wallet. The credit cards are somewhere. Where? Where are they? Perhaps you could fit your sneakers into your purse? Yes! My God, you can! Before you know it, everything you own is in your purse. But when you open it, you can't find a thing. What's the solution? I tried spending quite a lot of money on a purse, thinking this would inspire me to become a different person. But that didn't work. I also tried one of those Prada backpacks, but I stuffed so much in it that I looked like a serpent. Then one day, I found myself in Paris with a friend who announced that her goal for the week was to buy a vintage Kelly bag. I had never heard of a Kelly bag. My friend looked at me as though I had spent the last century asleep in a cave. A Kelly bag was a Hermes bag, first made in the 1950s, that Grace Kelly had made famous. Hence the name. It was a classic. My friend had heard that there was a dealer at the flea market who had several for sale. How much is this purse going to cost, I asked. I practically expired when she said, $6,000. Oh my gosh. Well, when we went to the flea market, there was the Kelly bag. I didn't know what to say. It looked like the sort of bag my mother used to carry. It barely held anything, and it hung stiffly on her arm. I may not be good at purses, but I know that any purse that hangs over your arm instead of over your shoulder immobilizes half your body, and more important, adds 10 years. Anyway, my friend bought the Kelly bag. It cost only $5,600. The color wasn't exactly what she wanted, but it was in wonderful shape. Of course, it had to be waterproof because it would lose half its value if it got wet in the rain. Waterproof? Caught in the rain? Never crossed my mind to worry about a purse being caught in the rain. Thank God it was time for lunch. We all went to a bistro, and the Kelly bag, it sat there in the middle of the table like a shrine to a shopping victory. And then, outside, it began to rain. Oh my gosh, my friend's eyes began to well up. Her lips closed tightly. In fact, to be completely honest, her lips pursed. It was pouring the rain, and she hadn't had the Kelly bag waterproofed. She would have to sit there for the rest of the day until it stopped raining, rather than expose the bag to a droplet of moisture. It crossed my mind that she and her Kelly bag might have to sit there forever. She would get old, her Kelly bag would. And eventually, she and her bag would end up like a modern version of Lot's wife. At that point, I gave up. I went back to New York. I bought myself a purse. Well, not exactly a purse. It's a bag. It's definitely the best bag I've ever owned. It's yellow and blue, so it matches nothing. Therefore, on a deeper level, it matches everything. It's made of vinyl. It's completely waterproof. It's equally unattractive in all seasons of the year. It costs nothing. Almost nothing. $26. And I will never have to replace it because it seems to be completely indestructible. What's more, never having been in style, it can never go out. It doesn't work for everything I admit. On rare occasions, I'm forced to use a purse, one that I hate. But mostly, I go everywhere with my yellow and blue vinyl bag. And wherever I go, people say to me, I love that bag. That's the greatest bag. Where did you get that bag? A MetroCard bag.
I never thought I would get married. I'm not somebody who dreamed of my wedding from a young age. I did not have visions. I just wanted a dress I could twirl around in. But 2 months before my wedding, I saw an ad that said, wedding dress sample sale. So Saturday at 11 a.m., I was standing with 40 other brides-to-be in front of a store called Brides-to-Be. Everyone yelling, 8's over here, 5's over here, Mom, where are you? And just grabbing, purses swinging, elbows jabbing, and somehow I ended up with 15 other women in a dressing room with no curtain, stuck inside a wedding dress. And when I finally got a look at myself, I thought, who is this person? I went to all the San Francisco department stores and tried on white bridal dresses with satin tops and big fancy bottoms. It was like going back centuries, and the layers felt fantastic. But I don't look good in white, so no white. So now I'm thinking, pants, wide, flowing pants, maybe in silk. Although I saw this parachute fabric once, and it was beautiful. My mom was totally involved. My mother and I were barely speaking. We went to all these boutiques where the people were just fashion freaks. And they were so excited that I was getting married that we got carried away and bought this dress. It was dark green. Right after we went to see the rabbi to talk about the wedding. And my mother said, try it on for Rabbi Mendelssohn.
So I went into the ladies' room at the temple and tried it on. I looked into the mirror, which wasn't easy because it was above the sink. I had to jump up and down. And then it hit me. I looked like a pine tree. I took it off and stuffed it back into the bag and realized this is going to be hard. This is going to be really hard.
I've been dealing with my parents' homophobia since I was a young teenager. I thought they were going to get there. But when I told them I was getting married, they hit the roof. But my fiance's mother was great. Right after we told her the news, she came right over to me with an old plastic sandwich bag full of family rings. She said to me, I want you to pick the ring you want to get married in. Whatever ring you want, I'd like to give it to you. I picked a plain band with a rose gold feather, my fiance's grandmother's. It was made in the 1880s. It's really beautiful and magical.
About this time, my mother went to a Buddhist retreat in Napa.
Finally, my friend suggested we go to a tuxedo store.
She called me up from a dress store in Llww and she said, I have found your dress. I have found it. This is it. I'm kind of laughing at my mother and my hopes aren't even up. She says, I'll be back Sunday.
I tried on tuxedo pants, and they were slinky and sort of pretty.
At 3 o'clock on Sunday, I get a call from my mother. I'm 3 hours away.
And a white frilly shirt that fit perfectly.
It's me again. I'm 2 hours away.
And then the saleswoman found a vest with a daisy chain pattern.
Set your watch. I'm 5 minutes from the exit.
Well, not daisies, just the chain part. Interlocking circles.
My mom was like bubbling over with excitement, and she took the dress out of the box. It was the most beautiful color, eggplant maroon.
So, okay, I did not look like a bride, but I looked good.
I tried it on, and it was amazing. My mother literally starts screaming and running around in circles. She's so excited about the dress. She's so excited that she's the one who found it. She's so excited because I look so beautiful. I just felt completely at peace.
A few days later, my fiancé came over and we tried on our outfits, and she said we needed to go together. You know, we need to match better. So she bought these buttons and covers for the buttons on my vest. Eggplant maroon. I, Lisa, take thee, Amanda, to be my partner for life, to love, honor, and be faithful to through good times and bad, as long as we both shall live.
I, Amanda, take thee, Lisa, to be my partner for life, to love, honor, be faithful to through good times and bad, as long as we both shall live.
My mother kept saying to everyone, why'd they have to do this?
I could hear my mom sniffling right through the ceremony.
She even said it to Amanda's mom.
Why'd they have to do this? And my mom said, to honor their relationship.
Black.
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 When did we start wearing black?
I can't remember. I love black.
Sometimes I buy something that isn't black and I put it on and I'm so sorry.
I'll take 3 in black.
I'll take 5 in black.
Do you have this in black? Is this black?
Are you sure you don't have this in black?
Could you see if the other store has it in black?
What about the LA store? Do they have it in black?
Why do we only look good in black?
I went to the store the other day and a salesman showed me a black sweater. And I said, I can't buy another black sweater.
You bought it, didn't you?
I bought it. I feel sorry for people who live in places like Phoenix and Dallas, because people there wear things that are like ink.
What about all those women senators in their red suits and
magenta.
What's wrong with them? Don't they get it?
Can't we just stop pretending that anything is ever going to be the new black? Black, 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 black.
I love these pants. They're from Eileen Fisher. So there. Black, of course. These days I usually wear black. Black is always chic. And they say it makes fashion choices so much easier. But who are we kidding? There are no fashion choices when you get to a certain age. I have to wear long sleeves because my arms have gone to hell. My neck, oh God, my neck. I wind scars around it, and some days I look like Catherine Hepburn in On Golden Pond. I used to show a little cleavage. Now it looks like a peach pit. Someone told me I can get Botox in my peach pit. But there are so many other parts of me that need Botox that my peach pit will just have to get in line. My waist is a faint distant memory. If I find myself in a department store, it's like wandering through the desert. I feel like a forgotten woman. Actually, when I was young, there was a chain of stores called The Forgotten Woman. Now I am that forgotten woman. And the store isn't even in business anymore. How ironic is that? The clothes I used to be able to wear are in boxes. My granddaughter Allie loves them. She's 4 years old, and when she comes over, I polish her fingernails and toenails bright red. And let her play in the drawer where I keep all the awful colors of lipstick, rouge, and eyeshadow that aggressive sales ladies talk me into buying. Then Allie tries on my old clothes, high heels, and hats. I watch her face as she looks in the mirror and sees how beautiful she looks. I wonder if she'll remember any of it when she gets older. I wonder if she'll remember me. My grandmother, she'll say. My grandma was named Gingy, and she wore completely shapeless black things. Recently, Allie told me her favorite color is pink. So I thought maybe I'd try a pink scarf.
I come to the doctor's from work, so I was wearing a business suit and lipstick. I always wore lipstick, even for my surgery. When my surgery was over, my lipstick was still perfect. The nurses were amazed. What kind of lipstick is this? Deep Scarlet by Aveda, I told them. But anyway, when the doctor first told me the news, you have advanced stage invasive ductile carcinoma. I looked over at my brother. He had come with me for emotional support. He was wearing this great pair of faded Levi's and a V-neck sweater. He was only 22. I thought, I can't die. I can't leave my brother. He still needs me. The woman who had breast cancer told me, whenever you go to the hospital, look fabulous. They can be mean to you. They can rob you of your identity. Put on an important piece of jewelry and always look your best. My mother gave me a white waffle cotton robe to wear over my surgical gown. It was short and glamorous, definitely more spa than surgical. On the day that my surgeon came in to undress my mastectomy wound, and I was going to see it for the first time, I wore that robe and my Indian candelabra freshwater pearl earrings. Before my mastectomy, I had A- breasts. So as long as I was going to have reconstruction, I figured, go for it. When the plastic surgeon asked what size breasts I wanted, I said, Baywatch. And then we got into this negotiation because she said, you're too small to have such big breasts. How about a B? And I said, no, a C. And she said, okay, a B+. And I said, no, a C. But anyway, the night before my reconstruction, my friend Meredith sent over this beautifully wrapped box, all pretty ribbons and tissue, and I opened it, and there was this white lace bra with underwire. I'd never worn a bra with underwire. Until that moment, I hadn't thought of my breast as anything but a reconstructed mound. But when I was given this bra, I realized it was going to be a breast in a lace demi-cup push-up bra. The next day in the operating room, the surgeon came in and said, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And she took off my top and started drawing on me with a Sharpie magic marker. She told me where she was going to cut, here and here and here. And it was making me nauseous, lying on that metal table, the smell of the room, the surgeon drawing on my chest. So I focused on that bra. I just thought about that beautiful white lace bra that was waiting for me when it was over. I didn't want a nipple on my new breast. The nipples they make are nice. They look completely natural. But I thought, if I have a nipple, every time people look at that breast, they're going to see this awful mastectomy scar. Whereas if I have a tattoo instead of a nipple, they'll see the tattoo and laugh. I don't know what people I was referring to exactly. But nevertheless, that was my thinking. So I started phoning these tattoo parlors and telling them what I wanted. And I found this guy who was so excited. His grandmother had had breast cancer, and he said, I have to do this for you. I wanted my tattoo to be a heart with wings. In Spanish, the word for heart is corazon, and in French, it's cœur. So a heart symbolizes both love and courage. And I wanted wings to represent all the friends who looked after me, like angels. After my chemo, these two guys made me a really beautiful wig. I didn't want to wear it. Everyone in the office knew I'd lost my hair. They saw it was falling out. So instead I wore baseball caps, backwards. I had a black suede one and a brown velour, but my crushed red velvet was my favorite. My Aunt Honey gave it to me. I saved all my hats, and I give them to other women to wear during their chemo. I always ask for them back so I can give them again. I think of them as magic hats, a good luck thing. You know, if you get breast cancer at 27, no one thinks you're going to live, but I did.
After I finished making all these drawings and writing all the bits and pieces that went with them, which took about a year, I made some copies and put them in big red binders and gave them to my children and to my two best friends. I was so happy, you have no idea. It was the story of my life. My mother was in it, and my grandmother and my Aunt Babby. It was as if they were still alive. They were acknowledged. Because when my sister dies, no one but me will know who they were. I was done. I managed to say all the things to my children you don't have time to say. I wanted them to know I wasn't always their mother. I was a girl. I had best friends. We did stupid things together. I rode on the bus once with Nora, eating dog biscuits so people would look at us. I wanted them to know. Then someone showed the book to a publisher. I thought, who would buy this? It's too personal. But they published it, and it turned out it was personal to other people too.
It was a green plaid coat, and I caught it on a piece of barbed wire.
Navy blue wool tights that kept falling down and making this web between my legs.
Matching dresses with my sister for Easter Sunday. Bright blue dresses with smocking.
A gold lame mini dress I wore when I snuck into a Sting concert.
Blue jeans that me and my best friend embroidered with peace signs.
My first cheerleading outfit that said Colts right across the chest.
Black cigarette pants that I wore one romantic night in Paris. Cotton candy pink silk shoes with bubblegum pink silk roses on the toe.
My poodle skirt.
My poodle skirt.